Welcome to the Laserfiche Web Client training. The Laserfiche Web Client is an online document management system that registrars and other administrators use to store important documents pertaining to students in Humble ISD. From enrollment paperwork to transcripts, Laserfiche stores everything for the district. Now that the software is available right from your browser in a web client, there's no need to install and work through an external program. Everything is done right through your web browser. To access the Laserfiche web client, first log in to my.humbleisd.net, then find the orange Laserfiche icon here. Once you get to the Laserfiche web client through the link in MyHumble, you'll log in to the root organization. Your username is the same as your MyHumble single sign-on credentials, but preceded by humbleisd_ms/. The password is also the same as your MyHumble credentials. Once you have logged into the Laserfiche web client, you'll come to this home screen. In the center of the screen is the list of files that you have access to, sorted first into your campus, then types or dates of records, and finally, student records by last name. Keep in mind the search field at the top of the screen. If you know a student's ID number or the specific name of a file you were looking for, you can search for it here. On the left, you'll see a file explorer showing exactly where you are in the system at all times. Use this to navigate through the system quickly. The bottom section of this panel allows you to access files or folders you have marked as important with a star. This can be very helpful if you have a student or a folder you are accessing often. You can add a star by clicking on a folder or records checkbox, and then choosing the star here. Any recently deleted documents can be viewed in the recycle bin. The Details panel on the right side of the screen can show you several things. If you have selected a file by clicking the checkbox to the left of its name, it will generate a preview of the file by default. You can also see various details that have been assigned to it in the Metadata and Fields sections. Above the Details pane, you'll notice the Actions bar. The first icon allows you to refresh the page if you've scanned in a new document since loading the page, for example. The second icon allows you to create a new folder within the current panel you are working in as long as you have access to do so. The Download icon will download all files that you currently have selected. You can download in one of two ways. Either choose to download as an image, and you can choose from PDFs, JPEGs, etc., or choose to download a briefcase, which will zip the files into one folder that you can even encrypt with a password. If you have access, you can also rename the file using this button. And finally, you can email files to yourself or others using the email option. When using this option, you'll choose how to send the files, either as links to Laserfiche or the actual files themselves. And then you will compose the email message that the files will be attached to. In the vertical dots, you'll find more options, such as moving or deleting selected files, printing files, or generating reports. Finally, the home screen has a variety of display options. You can configure the way the web client appears with the column picker tool. You can define what shows up in the Details pane, and more. Make sure to configure Laserfiche to what best suits your workflow. Let's try scanning in a document to Laserfiche web client. Click the Scan button to get started. The scan icon will open the Laserfiche scanning software in another window. When you first open the scanning software, you will be asked to choose a scan source. You'll need to choose the Twain driver and select OK. You'll also be asked to choose a connected scanner. Choose whatever your connected scanner is and select OK again. Under the Image Processing tab, go through the wizards for a few of the enhancements, namely deskew, despeckle, rotate, and set the page removal to 0 so that it doesn't remove any pages from your document. Once your image settings are set up, go ahead and start scanning by clicking this button here. Scanned documents will appear here under this revision section. They will have the name untitled, and you will see a thumbnail of the image. Give the document a title of the student's last name, first name, student ID. In the metadata, under the Fields tab, choose a template. Generally, you'll choose student records, unless it's a special program, in which case you will choose SPPG, or a health-related document, in which you will choose health. In the scanning software, the only fields that you need to complete are the document date, and you can use this calendar, the student ID, and the student's last name. And you can just type the first 3 letters if you choose. Once you've done that, go ahead and click Store in order to send it back to the Laserfiche web client. As you can see, the document has now appeared in my web client work queue. From here, it can be indexed accordingly. If you're having trouble finding the document, try searching for it in the repository here. Once you've found the scanned pages, open the file by clicking on its name. If you have multiple pages in one file, you'll need to select the group of documents that you want together by holding Ctrl and clicking those pages. Once you have your subset selected, right-click on them and click Move Pages To. From here, you will paste the document into your work queue, giving it a title along the way. Once you've done this, click Create. This will send it back to your work queue in its own section of files. Obviously, this does not need to be done if you only scan one file at a time. Once you have your documents separated, finish indexing in the Fields section of the Details page. Once you've finished that, click Save in the upper right-hand corner of the document, and Laserfiche will automatically sort it into the student's file. That concludes the Laserfiche web client training. If you're having any trouble, please email Dorinda Williams at this email address or dial extension 8445. Thank you.